night, inshallah.
I feel like in Arabic they say jinn, they say jinni.
Jinn is basically what is translated into English as genies. So it's another species that's created. We are created from dust, and they were created from fire. So the devil, shaitan, iblis, for example, is his origin is a jinn. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had raised him to a very high level because of his worship and his knowledge until he rebelled against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the two species that are held accountable and are invited to Islam are the ins, the humans, and the jinn, this other species. They can see us, we cannot see them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us a few things about them in the Quran, not too much. Again, it's not something that's going to increase our knowledge or anything like that. So if we just focus on ourselves and not be bothered by them, the Prophet ﷺ told us a few things about how to interact or limit our interaction with them, because some of the soothsayers, for example, and some of the fortune tellers used to seek the knowledge of these jinn. These jinn could travel much faster than we can do, and they can see things in other places that are happening at the same time, and they used to convey these news to the fortune tellers and the soothsayers, and they used to add a lot of lies to that. So the Prophet ﷺ said, do not seek the jinn, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, وَأَنَّهُ كَانَ رِجَالٌ مِنَ الْإِنسِ يَعُودُونَ بِرِجَالٍ مِنَ الْجِنِّ فَزَادُوهُمْ رَهَقًا. So those who used to try to interact with them and get into communication with them through black magic or through whatever, that added to their hardship and added to their burden, because nothing positive is going to come from our attempts to communicate with them. Allahu Akbar.
Assalamu alaikum. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question if you can, inshallah. Dr. Ihab,
Yes.
one aspect of the pace of the class, so mashallah, the last class I was basically hearing the recording, and that was very intensive. 4 surahs were touched upon, and I'm still trying to pace myself, for the lack of time on my side. At the same time, I feel that it is a little bit gone in, not sync with the Islamic source videos that we were supposed to take. So is it possible that you can basically provide some kind of a guideline on how to prepare for the next class and cover and make both of these sessions sync up, inshallah?
My advice to my brothers and sisters is, again, keep watching, because here we're trying to touch upon some of the events from the life of the Prophet. We're focusing a little bit more on the Quran that was revealed, commenting on these events. But in that other series, which is basically the life of the Prophet ﷺ, it's going into more detail about the particular events and the different personalities that used to interact with the Prophet ﷺ. And it's progressing at a slower pace. So basically, what we have covered so far in our 4 classes or so, it probably took, I would say, close to maybe 30 sessions in the other series or something like that. So right now in that other series, we are in the 5th year of the hijrah of the Prophet ﷺ. So we are about 8 years ahead of where we are right now. But here we are moving very quickly. Again, as you mentioned, I would highly recommend that to know the details, go back to the other series. Each session is about maybe 20-25 minutes. So whenever you have time, just try to go ahead at your own speed and try to catch up with what we're discussing here. I'm going to try to slow down here a little bit until I don't think we're going to be able to catch up with what I started a year earlier. So again, my recommendation or my advice to my brothers and sisters, at your own time, go ahead and try to watch as much as you can at the time.
There's an echo there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. May Allah have mercy on all of us. Inshallah. No, Jazakallah khair. I mean, that's great. If anybody has any questions, please just halt me and do pose the question to Dr. Ihab. We have about another 4 minutes. At the same time, I just wanted to get your commitment for the next class, November 29th, before I post for everybody.
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Ihab. This is Nabil. At that time, after the death of Sayyidah Khadija and Abu Talib, who was there from the close family of the Prophet ﷺ that was alive at that time to support him, basically?
Right. In fact, there's a very interesting piece of information here. His uncle Abdul Uzza or Abu Lahab, after Abu Talib passed away, Abu Lahab had sort of a change of heart when he saw the aggression of Quraysh against the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Of course, there were the other younger uncles. There was Sayyidina Hamza radiallahu anhu, who was about the age of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There was Sayyidina Al-Abbas radiallahu anhu, who was about 3 years older than the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But Abu Lahab was much older than that. So he saw that he is going to be the patriarch of Bani Hashim, and he's the one who should take that responsibility out of honor, because men belong to the same family. But initially, he told the Prophet ﷺ, after having fought him for so many years, he told the Prophet ﷺ, you go ahead and say whatever you used to say in the life of Abu Talib, I'm going to defend you. And Quraysh was very displeased with that, because this is a strong man, this is a very vocal man, very aggressive and very violent man. If he supports the Prophet ﷺ, it would be a problem. So they went to Abu Jahl, to Abu Lahab with a trick, and they told him, how are you going to support him? How are you going to defend him with what he's saying about your father? And he asked, what is he saying about my father? And they said, well, he's saying that he goes to the hellfire. So Abu Lahab went to the Prophet ﷺ and asked him, where is my father? Now the Prophet ﷺ is in a very hard place. He needs the support, but at the same time, he cannot lie, he cannot compromise. So the Prophet ﷺ paused for a second and he said, Abi wa abuka fin nar. My father and your father are in the hellfire, because both of them died as non-believers. And Abu Lahab resumed his enmity to the Prophet ﷺ even more. He went back to be a more fierce enemy to the Prophet ﷺ, to the contentment of Quraysh, who were very pleased with this resumption of hatred against the Prophet ﷺ. So from the own family of the Prophet ﷺ, Sayyidina Hamza radiallahu anhu was a Muslim, declared Muslim, as we mentioned before. Sayyidina Al-Abbas radiallahu anhu, deep in his heart, he knew that the Prophet ﷺ is the Prophet, he's a messenger. He did not declare that, and he, in fact, no one knew that whether he was a Muslim or not until the Battle of Badr. He was in the army of Quraysh that went to fight the Prophet ﷺ, and he was captured as a non-believer, and he was treated as any other non-believer from the prisoners of Quraysh. Later on, we're going to see that Sayyidina Al-Abbas radiallahu anhu was a Muslim hiding his Islam, and he stayed back in Mecca until later on, where he joined the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Medina. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, Jazakumullah khair.
Okay, with that, inshallah, we have 1 minute actually at the hour right now. So inshallah, Jazakallah khair, Dr. Ihab, for joining us, inshallah, and giving us a beautiful presentation. Reminder again, next class is November 29th. Please do join us at 8:15. And inshallah, these recordings, I did start the recording a little bit late, trying to manage on behalf of Sister Mamaha. So there might be a few minutes that will be missed, but these recordings will be posted, inshallah, within 48 hours on our YouTube channel. And let me ping me about the communication if I hope nobody's getting annoyed. And Jazakallah khair again, generally we basically post which videos they should see from the Islamic source. When I was watching the episode 10, I think, yes, 9 and 10, that was still at the stage wherein Rasulullah was still it has just moved back to his mother, and I think and they they went to the caravan where they met the monk.
Yes.
So we are kind of at that stage. So inshallah,
So
maybe
I
you
think
can help us to recover.
Maybe what we discussed today could be probably around episode number anywhere between 35 and 40. Somewhat much later than that. So again, if you can watch them and catch up, that would be great. If you want to just move forward and watch the later ones, it's up to you, inshallah, how you decide to connect.
Yeah, and also I leave it to the participants as well. Inshallah, they will also join in. But at some point, inshallah, you try to guide us through them as well.
Inshallah.
Jazakallah khair. طيب, inshallah, with that, inshallah, make a dua for us, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.